On today's Minute of the Apes, just like a good burp that you've been holding in, we got some Star Wars Galaxy Hero talking done.
Wow.
You know when you got a burp that's just been sitting there, you go, and it's out, you finally got released? That's what it's like to talk about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes after a little while.
It's the itch you can't scratch. Is that a little bit better than maybe the burp that won't come out?
Oh, no, you're lucky I didn't go with fart, all right? Or constipated shit.
I figured you were going to go there eventually.
Exercise with an ape maker, human down. It talks. Nobody is of the divine bound. We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace.
The only good human is a dead human.
And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then oh please God, let him be dominated by such as you.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. And Richard and I tried to figure out.
Intro you're going to keep.
We try to figure out, being Sean's friend, when he decides to use some bodily function, what it's going to be. Why today is it a burp and why is it not a fart? And then Sean explains after he gives the intro why he could have gone with a fart. But the truth is, we did probably spend about the past 15, 20 minutes talking Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, which you all know is one of our obsessions.
Episodes, yes.
I had to restart a new Zoom meeting because we were going to have a time gap.
We didn't know how long it was going to go, yeah.
I wonder if there's a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Podcast?
Huh. Maybe we ought to do that. The complete fool's guide to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
It'll be one episode. I don't know. I just hit the buttons and assign. Fuck it.
Hey, try and talk to me. I don't even pay attention. I don't know.
You know,
I do what the Discord tells me.
Just because I can't let Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes go, and I swear I'm going to make sure we only stick to this point.
It's true.
Have you ever gone out to watch videos on YouTube and about the game and just trying to understand what should I do in this situation? There is nobody that does these videos that doesn't do the, hey, everybody, this is coming in my game. And it's like, oh, my God, why can't you just be a normal person?
Welcome to my channel. I want to tell you. 20 minutes, the intro, before this is what you want to know.
And make sure you give me the like. Got to have the like so I can do this. And by the way, all you do is put this relic on. Thanks. And it's like,
bell.
Well, you're inspiring us to up our game in terms of the Apes podcast. We need to start doing that as well. Get really excited about the fact that we're talking about apes today.
That's right.
Follow us up on social media.
For the rest of this episode, I'm going to be on top.
So I did a quick just Google search, and the first thing for Star Wars Galaxy Hero podcast, and it went to Player FM. So there is no preference in what I'm saying, but there are Shattered Order podcasts, Reality Skewed Gamers, SWGOH podcast, The Gambit, Hollow Table News Network, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast, Cantina Vizsla, a Star Wars Galaxy Heroes podcast, Galaxy War Report, Rebel Forces Alliances, Galaxy of Heroes. Yeah, so there's plenty of podcasts about it.
But partially, I'm only stopping you because I don't want everybody to go listen to those podcasts because they're like, if I'm going to listen to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, I'm going to listen to someone doing it.
Yeah, let's talk about some apes.
Let's talk apes. Right. We are at minute 78. We're almost done with this movie. Sean, tell us what's going on with minute 78.
All right, minute 78 starts with guards restraining an ape and ends with a door about to fall down.
All right, let's take a listen to this minute of Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Shoot them! Shoot them all! This is a communication center. There's no defense here. If we lose this battle, that's the end of the world as we know it. We will have proved ourselves inferior. weak. And all those groveling cowards who are alive when the battle is over will be the weakest of all. This will be the end of human civilization, and the world will belong to a planet of apes.
As today 8, we got 78. We got a courtyard's worth of gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans, imported apes, Caesar. We lost apes in the revolution. We got guards piled in piles. We got guards that have been flambéed. We got Armando that's jumped out of windows. It's just crazy.
So we also spent a little bit of in-between time talking about the difference between the theatrical cut that Richard is watching and the unrated original cut that Sean and I have been watching. And this is one of those minutes when it is abundantly apparent that there is a difference between these. And we showed it to Richard, and he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't get this." So,
yeah, since we discovered that we were watching different versions, we do a little preview here so Richard can see the version that we're watching, Todd and I are watching, and he gets little surprises every now and then. So this is the second surprise.
This is a big surprise. This is huge.
So
from our perspective, actually, Richard, you tell us from your perspective what happens in this minute. In general, in the bunker.
Because this is what happens if you buy this on iTunes and you decide to watch it there. This is what you're going to see, right? Yeah. So Breck is at the door.
Yeah,
Breck is at the door. There is the blowtorch beginning to go through. He complains about the fact that they haven't learned such tools, right? Mm-hmm. And I originally didn't catch this, but he says, "I don't know how they got tools." We then come from a shot behind some gorillas that are now advancing towards Breck and McDonald and some guards. And I didn't catch the fact that Breck and McDonald were no longer at the door, but on those 3 steps as if they're walking back towards the bay door again, right? So they're at the door, then they cut to behind some apes that are advancing towards them, but Breck and McDonald have magically jumped 2 feet back further behind the door on the top of some steps. I had no idea there was an entire scene that was cut. So a very violent scene.
I've just timed it. There are about 20 seconds that were cut out from Richard's version or in the version that Todd and I saw.
So in that cut, what you get is the moment where
they lost their G rating.
Chaos is ensuing. Yeah. Chaos is ensuing in the control room. The apes are there. We question why the apes are still in there, but the guards effectively grab one gorilla who, when we get a close-up of his face, looks dazed for some reason. I guess because he's been beaten up and whatnot.
Well,
but
technically, there is a guard that was hitting him with a nightstick on his head and neck, so he should look a little dazed.
So he's dazed. Breck gets a gun. And
he said, "Give me your gun, your gun."
In a very weird staging of a scene, these guards hold the gorilla. Breck goes and pulls the gun. We get a wide shot of him aiming, and then we get a close-up, almost akin to the famous hold-up footage from the silent era where somebody shot a gun into the camera and made the audience shriek. It's almost that exact same shot.
You start with the focus on Breck's face, and then rack focuses to the barrel of the gun.
And he shoots the gorilla, and we get the weird Sherwin-Williams red blood splatter on his face. And that's what they took out so that we could get the G-rated version. And the reason, Richard already said that, but I want to say, how do you think you're going to make a Planet of the Apes movie with a man taking a gun, aiming in the camera, point blank, blowing the head off an ape, and you think, hey, we got a G rating in the bag? How did they ever think that was going to work?
And not only that, guard was very brave, holding the ape, assuming Breck was going to shoot him in the shoulder.
I thought so too.
Well, okay. Did they go into this thinking they were making a G-rated film from the beginning, and that's what they wanted to create, or were they giving themselves options and then cut stuff like this out, thinking they'd get a G because they pulled this back?
According to some movies that they go in knowing what rating they're going for. You're going in for an R rating. You need to get it either contractually obligated to give a PG rating or something like that. They might have been going with a we think we're going to get a PG rating, but we could push it potentially to a G. I don't know.
According to all notes that I could find, and I did read a lot of this, and they're even in some of the making of footage, they went in almost assured that they had a G-rated film. They thought, this is Planet of the Apes. People expect a little violence. This is G-rated. The rating systems was a little bit different back in this era. They weren't, the stringent thing that we have now about certain things, and PG-13 doesn't come along until the 80s because of Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. They were different, but there is at no point can you have a point-blank blowing of a head and think that you're going to get it, because apparently what hit them and they were shocked by, and all the notes I've read again and in that documentary, they had people walking out with their children at this point. It was like, no, this is too much. And so they're taking their children out. And that's why in a panic, they went and hacked and whacked this movie to remove the things that were going on. I don't fault them for thinking that Breck should shoot the gorilla. I think a better way to do it is, with all the things going on, Breck just sees a gun and reaches and takes it and just shoots. He doesn't have to shoot him in the head. He won't have to see this. He could bang and the ape could fall, and that's totally different. But
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that this is so grotesquely brutal even for this era, and I somehow that weird blood splat on his face is even more brutal than if I saw brain matter going everywhere. It's just
there's go ahead. Sorry.
Well, two things I was going to say. Going back to the G rating, there are two different types of trailers. There's a green band and a red band. Red band, you can kind of do whatever you want to, and it's an unrated trailer. Kind of think of it that way. Green band, they have restrictions, and think of green band as kind of being a G-rated movie. Green band, you literally cannot point a gun at the camera in a green band rating. Yet they thought they could have a G-rated movie with a gun almost being pointed at the camera to shoot somebody. And I can't remember what the second one was.
But is red band, green band modern era, or is that a classic film?
No, that's
green band is
still
pretty.
I'm
trying to find the origin of when red band trailers started to show up,
and it's a little funny now when you see red bands, just because it's the movie industry. Yeah, it's the movie industry protecting themselves. You can. The weird thing is you can go on YouTube and see anything you want, and it's a little antiquated to still have that approach. But now it's almost a marketing ploy when they put a red band. Ooh, you're going to see something shocking.
So think of it also this way: like a green band trailer, if it's a bloody movie, they will make. If blood's on somebody's face, they'll make it look dark, like brown or black. In a red band trailer, they can show red blood. It's like little things like that as well.
So let's talk about the difference between these things and just going beyond the violence. So you've got a situation where they're coming in through a door. You have one gorilla who begins to act up, which is not unlike what the other gorillas and chimps in the room have been doing. Mm-hmm. They wrestle with the guard, right? Yep. Breck takes that opportunity to demand a gun from somebody.
An example,
and shoots him in the head. That then causes the rest of the apes in the room to begin to risk their lives by coming after Breck and potentially the guards. Those apes are then gunned down.
You got some of the blood splatter in your version of the apes being gunned down.
No, they took the blood. There's no blood splatter in mine. They're shot down, but there's no blood splatter now.
Yeah, so we get one shot of an ape right in front of the camera. The closest one to the camera gets quick blood splatter on his face and falls down as well.
So what's more powerful? This idea that the guerrilla revolution is coming in through the front door and the gorillas inside begin to rise up finally, when they realize what's happening to get shot down, or the fact that there's panic in the room, Breck then shoots a gorilla, thereby causing the apes in the room to want to usurp. Like there's kind of two. How would you interpret these two movements? I mean, the Breck moment is powerful, but I also like the idea of the apes coming up.
I also think it's a third thing. He's given permission to the guards to take down the apes as well. Well, he's leading by example in this point. I shot this ape. You take care of the rest of them.
I think I like how the stacked nature of that story goes, that his aggression creates something that is reactionary that creates something else. What I find